And a international diplomatic relations consultant Al-Wahab about becoming sa evier. Eja, Mohamed Wakwaba. You say Bibia Boko,
Inshallah.
Now making kind character. And they were talking about illicit capital flow from the continent of Africa. One session B was talking about our mineral resources. And it's a free move. Our continent of Africa. So echo continent of Afroso. And Mumutimi Yom Hui. And Tokwa ye queen. Ujidi se ye betimi akuniye. Galamse and Tokwa. Ye betimi akuniye. And critically look at the supply chain, the chain of mining. No, my concern has to do with omo talk at the Kwadwo.
At the
Kwadwo.
And so
I am Famra Kwanswan.
And so what the man who said on Todia over top. That is how the whole thing is. Yeah, Galamsey na be more or less a political slogan. It is true, sir. You look at it from the fact, say, land abuse, and I say forest abuse, water bodies, any other things put all together. What is called illegal is what they call it, the Galamsey, and illegal. Because of those who are using tools, smaller tools. But our understanding was that some of them are medium scale, some of them are, like small scale. But we have legalized small scale gold mining companies.
Sure.
But what they say? The definition as to which one is small scale and which one is large scale or medium scale, in my view now, maybe had not been properly defined. Because here is the case, as we've been told or we know, say, those whose machines are bent, ISO machines, a lot of them can produce documents validating the operations. But of course, in our own constitution, the mineral laws, the regulations, a woman said a certain size of a land could be allocated or is to be allocated, and only a citizenry, the subjects of the land, the people of the community. There's two. Omuni ntimi ni that capital say or the excavators. Oni capital say obetimato trommels. Oni capital say obeto your friend is saying generators. But your only capital say obeto other equipment, bashing machine money nyama, and even the water that they extract to do the bashing before the processing. And the processing equipment, which is the machine to process the gold itself, not the orthodox way of using the pamper to wash it. All these things in Int'l and are in the mind of the Mineral Commission. What is called small scale mining. Now, so Mineral Commission, you didn't think through this, and you gave them the small scale mining license. Bearing in mind and knowing very well, say, oh yeah, excuse me, Obi and the capital in 10,000 Ghana cedis. The capital need 20,000 cedis. But what my license to miner? What is the permit given for? You are giving a license to do Galamsey. Are you getting the analysis?
So the Mineral Commission,
they have given license
in one way or the other, is complicit of whatever it is that is going on.
Because of their bad laws, ebia omu enhwe back, and I say omu ye imagine say ombe revisit it. Because at the time some of these laws were passed, they didn't expect the challenges. Because the Ghanaian and most part of Ghana were not in the gold mining. Ghanaians and most part of Ghana, who say na gold I said it in this particular studio the first time said Ghana since the last 100 years, from colonial to post-colonial, 100 years up to 2021, I think that Ghana one mining the gold reserves 10% of the country.
Now they say my chunk of it, are still under the ground.
They are doing alluvia. Over Timide, Chisel, any hammer, Abotokrako 2 kilometers beneath the soil. You cannot. Yanko baby, they are doing alluvial mining. And no crana yet medium scale, any light scale, no cry or no, or yet alluvial mining quite Uncle for more than even 5 or 20 meters. Or do uncle even 10 meters. It go don't know him. But it is the processes and how we handle the whole thing. And then I may say, so was it truly? One man, there was small scale mining. Small scale mining is 2 land in Adiama woman. Also, on small scale mining. Why year demarcation and why year allocation of course small scale mining? It be a 1 kilometer. Your friend is saying it be a just about 2 acres.
Yeah.
It be a 5 acres. It be a 6 acres. 2 acres, 8 city plots. Now say 8 city plots, with the ama Kwadwo Drakon or Kwadwo whatever enterprise, a small scale, no man paper, one the man. Only scar what they call for excavator one day, about 2,400 Ghana cedis. Land in India, Ukra documents. The obey say, what fresh for boys who crumble. Monko mining, na mommy percentage. And to omu too bon. And the fact that we allocated this area at the Ama Kwadwo and a happy FM. The number of people working on it, if you want them to take care of the land, reclamation and all that, it is you, the Mineral Commission, who theoretically but practically at the same time, who hasn't done your job well, to oversee the responsibility. So ubakwa check is here near man or proper. Papa, Minerals Commission, Lands Commission, and all the agencies, there are 3 things they fail to do. Supervision, monitoring, and control. They don't do any of them. So what?
Supervision, monitoring, and control. They do not do any of them.
What you cry and I will issue certificate. Nipani free no chrome enchi wabaji certificate what they call enchi. One man the license were triaka. Who sikana what they call government chest consolidated no. And the air offer. Receipts na momo DBD no air offer. Signature na mo sign no air mode. Do you understand me? But you don't supervise what the person takes the document and what he's doing out there. You don't monitor what the person is doing. And you don't control how they should do it. So the 3 ingredients, supervision, monitoring, and control, none of them is adhered. Come, a slogan, a political slogan, sometimes in Ukraine, it just it borders on, excuse me to say, just ordinary effectiveness instead of the government employing efficiencies. They just want to be effective, meaning say, ya pese ya ti ya honka, minister bi ba pese ya tenenka. So be Mineral Commissioner be ba pese ya tenenka. But when you sit down as a country, you admit there are your faults. So where dear and you reverse the entry, you go back to the drawing board. Now you shisha the end for. Because Papa, think of it. Ghana concession. Obi to Australia. A crana say here woman. Large scale concession. You see concession with the ocean Ghana ye in more. Your geological map in more. About 50 kilometers square. Bunsu hayam. Obako baby. A kibi 80 kilometers square. A ho ya locate yama large scale. Ghana ni be no west called the cotton.
Second here.
Oska cry and Toman. Na Brunia Baba Beto. Oba will share royalty. Mineral Commission license back and forth. They here open $300,000 now watching for documentation. No woman I get $300,000. No documentation I'm a Brunin. We are contractors on site as usual. Or quite any geological survey. Or the tools are question you home. Will be a pit 1, pit 2, pit 4. Will be about 30 pits. Wash and higher grade and lower grade. Why in a sample? Why in analysis? At that time, we also require documents. Yes, we require the documents. Oh yeah, land not torn about $300,000, less than $500,000. We're getting a proper grading, no a structured investment book, no the control. Stock
exchange.
No a ton $15 million.
Now it's $25 million.
Or Ghana, or to Australia, no a Genesika, or to Canada, no a G, or to US, no a G. I get in me. Peanuts. Scano yan chairman will come. What I say? The investor in Australia, but they are two accounts in the whole. What have you benefited under it?
Zilch.
And to one year way, because at $300,000, $200,000, $150,000, a YGDI license, large scale mining, what they are YG, I don't know how to the commission. Nasabi, or no village, ana, ne Dayachi, go to no near two. Now come dinner, or come mining sites and the mining villages now. In fact, go and look at the people. The kind of lifestyle, the poverty level of living. Me mount, and you know, and then the Atiwa regions. The mining companies in the mining will be bedroom, the diet concession. Now, as I may dying and excavator, a move soil, or move black stones. Ya bash me na. Ade channel pa. Na msis ka no mutua. Ono no de local na de ono no. De ntia o yesi from galancy. Ono no antimi nya excavator ko bie pit. En fili nsuo e ma ne mfa nya washing. Ndi nsuo na da ho na no. Ani brinchi no obekọ nsuo no ho. Wo sesa na tie no. E de akọ nsuo no mu. E de akoye ono ane bashing. Ono ye ni local processing. Entiano na nsuo no beye kokọ. Abrofo na ankasa nso wo mutu no. Eso no some of them no. Also nsuo na or exit. I will fresh water.
Yeah.
The two nsuo no. Na osusu ose no. But ono no the end they will say a large scale. Into large scale they will say nsuo ye. But the guarantee there. Or say na enye. Enti bibiaba ye let's employ effectiveness. A man for say galamsey fight ye lose. Into quickly, no, I see a field. It is not the amount of the number of soldiers, police, army that you send on board resolve the issue. It is the amount of efficiencies that you employ, not the effectiveness. It is how over regulating loss of the minerals in Egypt. Papa, is there any country that is poorer than Sierra Leone? On the West African belt. It's one of the poorest in the world. It's among the first 10 poor countries. Yet, they know what the biggest diamond mining in West Africa, Cornwall region. Papa, what is our issue of government and the citizen, whether small scale of you were the same scope, Commonwealth.
Yeah.
Papa, Sierra Leone for mineral loss. Kong. Haya Freetown here. There's no difference between gold and diamond. The same thing is mining from the soil. The same process to some extent, with small variances. Now, Omo no society ma yomu law ni. Happy FM. And no Chester Kono, Kailan District, Kenema, Bo, and Chelsea in two. Locals in two diamond. Two. Papa. They are custodians of the land. But in our case, they are custodians and poor people of the land.
In the case of Africa, not in the case of Sierra Leone and Al-Kazakh.
Yeah, America, Ghana, worst case scenario, Ghana in reference, in perspective. Sierra Leone in perspective. Niger in perspective. Burkina, Mali. Shasa across the West African belt, baby, that desert in a good one. And what do we have to do? Is there anything that stops the Republic of Ghana? So we'll fight Galamsey. Now, Wankasa, do the needful. They were located say a small scale no. Who a Minerals Commission. Go and open Ghana Minerals Company. Go and open Ghana Minerals Company at the villages. Create it as an employment hub. Now one can they will operate bigger scale. Who operate large scale. But one will say crash for no. I'm go dom super. What stops you from creating company in Int'l? Dry and Quanta, Achim whatever, Achim Bagro, baby I go do union. Does anything stop Ghana government so on so back? I could be gold mining companies in Kitwani Bureau. Now I bring in the villages now. Woman rescue my life. 2 a.m. no move to from Equasha form. 3 a.m. Now land any keep on them. So while we are supervision, and now while we are monitoring, now we are control. And now one kasa when the town, and for that matter, the municipality or the district, and I say the chief, the palace, and the man say, and Yahano, Yen say, into the Yenya outreach officers say, bah, no more guide. Na Yen say, my own the guiding principles. No two crown or mouth taxer. If you are controlling, you control the water. If you are supervising their work, you make sure nobody will go out there to throw anything asset in Yama. If you are monitoring, you know who comes in and the kind of tools are Papa Omedeba. When you move here, Gigi Mokwa, Adia Chan, no Makwada Hotel. Muyo, Muko operational. Sanya farms one amoda. Mokwa no Mamoba, some of the land cruisers. Ruby Alcoy operation, more the land cruisers. And gaga. Have we costed ourselves fuela yatodical operations? What do we get? Yakone Yakoshishi excavators. No? The idea was that excavator no yen chair Emma municipal assemblies. Yen chairman will be the power player babaji. Yen say no. Excavator Nimusa was say ebe pro muhana. There be eventually no you better on scraps. Why near ton scraps na man? Ya kwatwe ba ya say na wie ni de. Are we go because the argument is say we won't have money for low bed. So Uncle Tomra, low bed budget 3,000 to bring to the city or whatever. Or the back crowd budget SYZ yati. In Tianchama district be yati. Yanchama will be yati. Yasheno. Which in Ubia it is no more the property of the person now. Ya Jeffrey in Semno. Yansha a kwanya. Ye be faswa, ye be saton, sa excavator no. You sure how much value that comes to the government.
You make a point about government's intervention, and as a government going into a year mining sector.
Yes.
Now on Nyumakuo betimi etusiko kono in some of these communities.
Yes.
What would that mean for that large scale mining company?
Large scale, some of them Newmont, etc. Nothing stops them. The small scale doesn't compete with the large scale, neither the medium scale. What would mean to them the large scale businesses that they can go deep down, like Anglo Gold, Goldfields, and others. On what team call more than 10 kilometers down. At what point does a Galamsey compete with them? There's no competition. What I mean is that what was a small scale now with their village, with their town, while located around the town, not the deep inside the forest. And because why a bigger a catchment area, call it the large scale, because we pay more money, revenue of registration in your money, man. The Odiama Chrono, small scale, no, Ghana Niba, 82 bino, Unia, and no, I'm say, what the man woman. One Fabibia and shedding sem. But on no cry pick us, and no cry asaw holes, and no cry rakes, and Yama or de quiet no, your friend local tools. And the local tools no de cohono, your friend any foul means, they are the Benya gold beyond.
Can be as no sense.
And then I make sure say, I say we are to create employment, we are to make money, and we want to domesticate our revenues and make sure the ordinary Ghanaian would have money. And I'm saying, say what district council, district assembly.
Yes.
What do they do? That could be a part and parcel of district assembly no manasa adwuma no no fan creative revenue into district assembly township small villages na on catchment area no obetima enrolu na wo nyina akọ field no so na wo the garden lines Ghana Geological Survey officers in Kohokokoshe to the whole day abrofo say perform no dom koye adwuma as mining supervisors no matwam ka no maja wo mabigo Ghana Geological Survey papa ka asegu pick up no ekwa na tie no kura kuru nipa dasani what you say pick up ne ties no but you ka expertise and experts from good geological surveyor you don't have an idea this issue ongoing as we speak ask me geological survey do not say ni engage you Minerals Commission engage geological survey they know the land more than you how far have you engaged them and to say who open the national conference now we open the summit to discuss about it you are treating the side of the traditional area that doesn't burst up the NC Hall. Now they are the only people. Name on father expertise for no. Omam what that expertise in mra. Namu ina mon transit. Nyanka says ye dania ombetu. Enti geological survey. When the Minerals Commission, when the district, any the regional body no, any the security council no, mon form nyan call no a prototype, a local type of a mining company, small one. Papa, a class mining company bianca Caribbean Yajumaye. Because Crana imagines a farming on you. Ne papa coton, ne plot. 1 farm acre land be 10,000 Ghana cedis, $2,000, less than 2,000. Papa and Fisa come dinner, ne bayare, ne baba cra, or peb a diadem, edia coton yama. It just so high diamond ba. Over ton cocoa, edia mobile to gold also. Eddie 10,000 Ghana no. 2,000 bread brands on per dime. No high, no uncle Gina La Paz traffic light, non tolerant rule. Irony of life. Realities, not assumptions. It's not stupidity. Into your cassette, the flow, urbanization, and Kraneba. Papa, what will make a Ghanaian? What could Suku? What could SHS? What will JHS? What will SHS? Every cry no cry HND. Now I saw baby Gina traffic light no to toilet rule.
You been more degree of rockers.
Obi a what degree no? Cry rockers in a year. Ebi swafunu. The poor Boris. Boys in your me graduates. Obi mami a funeral no akopa darkest in the shoulder. Near Bobo Mali you know their sa. Obi a near man 150 Ghana. Happy FM. Now boys in catch you funny being so mood. And that can be smooth pa. It's no to her. Empire your boys a debia obi mu. Don't even cause a dead body. Is that how we settle on having gone through university? Is that the case? No. And to say, many say, Galam say no, we are there, Papa. This fight, nobody can stop it. They know it.
You believe that we can't stop the fight against illegal small scale mining?
Why would you stop it? How would you stop it? Tell me. Give me the roadmap that you think you succeed. Give me one single roadmap. Give me one single roadmap. Are you telling me, say, Ghana contingent army in saying, and it's all the one platoon crying at the call 30 contingent of 30 soldiers, and I don't call one villager. 30 soldiers who wait my chum crime and do a dancing area. Where there's a large scale. Over to Domako Bogosu area. So one platoon be our crown at Dom 30 soldiers in one company. But my course a Ghana company in Yazoo Bush, don't go stop at Galamziti, or fighting our way. Send our best stop enough. Happy FM. Do you understand me? So the challenges are real, and we have to face the challenges. The water body is no almost saying no, it is a fact. Because say, we've not maybe given them as a country a better alternative. Into Omono, officer and hot train no partner there to hell with you and your operations now. When himself operations, oh yeah, Obeko. Now you must see how say, if we have that money to pay for 200 soldiers, to hire and charter and rent land cruisers, to pay hotel and accommodation bills, to give them food and per diem, Only for operation that you know, say, and you're indefinite. Only for operation that we know, say, and you're just only a political sometimes facade. Because at a point, it will expire, naturally disarmed. So it will be, if it will be naturally disarmed there, let's just say any future continuity in anyhow. And to continuity in no there, it is an ad hoc measure. If it is an ad hoc measure there, it has a time expiration and a timeline. And the soldiers in if who we are, what next? Send the usual affair. It's a business as usual. So they go back, and we are back to class 1. And the says Sikano, and then the Farmer Geological Survey, Minerals Commission, Nian training officers, now young say, okay, young who acquire Befaso, young protect your villages, okay, young protect you, okay. Because, Papa, I'm surprised, but I'm not shocked. So, Tune Forecast said, Jenny Atiti here, whom was he referring to? You are referring to politicians, opinion leaders, and the chiefs. And I'm a boy. 30% or more among us, Yenina Galamsi Yebi. What does the king, the sensible king, is telling you? Or shall say, Adiano, and you shall beat my fight. It is a more proper way they are stopping, they are not stopping, because or in the end, when they are taking down her, when your land cruiser on the moon. Happy FM. And you create to go. What about my Chinese in your land cruiser man? Or he never bad that land cruiser. Rofu Bogo so back, Abesano, Abe chieftaincy a year. What dema me action? A driver no.
Happy 98.9 FM na sugusu a utieno. Fa wo message no fa 0202222067 mene international diplomatic relations consultant Al-Wahab and I'm in studio ha. This is the first part of the show. Na yam free mining yiso. Na yam ko sika e free continent yiso e ko baby. Untapped for document bi wo ha me kan ye. Na womo ka se sika to de bia on an annual basis. A African government binom etimi accept free continent yiso edikoku baby ma ebua baby for about $140 billion. Yes. Now, my main kind statement be na yen financial commodity. Or say illicit financial flows and corruption are inhibiting African development by draining foreign exchange, reducing domestic resources, stifling trade and macroeconomic stability. And that's my point. So we know that this thing exists. That'll be the last question that I'll ask you, but I'm asking now. Why have we not taken steps to deal with it? Let's start from Ebane saying, Ena, yetem sika free of man, not just government. The document also mentions some corporate entities. International inclined. Multinational inclined. One must say sika free continent is so edikogu omo krom. Ebane say.
Okay. Let's go back to the historical antecedents. And he say, understand, said, in the 19th century, Happy FM, until the Second World War ended up, 45 thereabout. Nastel and your BBI friend said, free territories of the world. The free territories of the world was the fact said, near what land, I Google baby, colonies be no more pay. Part and reason and why First World War, very possible was the fact said, there was an agenda of supremacy. There was an agenda said, countries be no as colonial masters, i.e. the UK, the British, i.e. the French, i.e. the Americans, the Russians, the so-called superpowers. Omuhu say, there are a lot of land. Now from the 15th century, from the 6th century, urban. Aden, Italy, say India for nana omobefa Italy. In the 6th century, where are Italians now? And where are Indians now? Enti koya bedu 19th. But the First World War no kumwie no. There were land that me conquer one abeji. There were land we be conquer no abeji. And the Second World War so by the Axis power, the Germans, Italy, Ethiopia, and some other countries, 14 of them against other because not they were fighting not only because it was a Cold War, it is Sefah-Danquah kind of Hitler. No, that is not that nonsense. That was the trigger. It was a nonsense of who has the power. And somebody wanted to go out there and to dominate. In the British force, me colony in Ghana, me colony in Sierra Leone, Nigeria, but the more called Burma in the Far East Asia. Yeah, called the Burma War, near Kogi territory.
Now Myanmar.
Yeah, Koha, young Kogi territory. At that time, no, it was the colonial masters, and they said, and yet territory in Kuno no open, no Koha. The lands were rich. There were monies. Not monies maybe as in cash, because most countries in the bills.
So the wars were motivated by the quest for riches.
For riches. And to conquer. Are you hearing me? Now, on taking possession. On taking nipa man and somno. Now, on taking minerals. At that time, and nekra yo chroma in the 21st century, ye what geologists were near local. A young boy is 23 years, were master graduate in geological expertise. Now, and so still, that time, no. Now, omuba, ni achia mamini ya papa magudem. No ma se montonyom, and I am a mumpi, no ma ko bush. In their time, the same excavators if you used today, no, they also had the powerful machines in their time. And this is gold, diamond, etc. And all the country, the third world, call it, now no under colonization. Or no under territory.
Yes.
So interestingly, historically, from the 1950, precisely, urban, no awareness, because it dated 100 years back in the 18th century. And another French, the Portuguese, the Danish, the English, are you getting me? The Spaniards. Mama, colonies now, control 100 years, and Sanya Beja Mamo. And it's all sharp. The world history tells you that countries are near under occupation of colonization. Time never saw 1950, 51, 52. Largely the whole African continent, except Liberia and then Egypt to some extent. But even Egypt, under the King Farouk, they had to go through what? Revolution. And some of Egypt, Obenya, the first president. And at the time now, countries started say, "Uhia the independence." Referring to Africa, the leaders and the fighters for the independence, they were Pan-Africans. Pan-Africanism, the practice and the doctrine was said, we will promote, protect anything African. Our culture, our identity, our language, our food, our way of life. We are Pan-Africans. Where do we see? At that time, Habib Bourguiba was in Tunisia. He was a typical Pan-African. Okay? Algeria, Ahmed Bembella, he was a Pan-Africanist. Egypt, Mohamed Naguib, he was a Pan-Africanist. West Africa, Kwame Nkrumah, Sekuturi, Modibo, Keita. Across, no munina Pan-Africans. Because na ono oma brese abrofo die so ache. Enti yanya so ye. Interestingly, out of inexperience, omu ye mistakes. But it wasn't their fault. Mistake omu ye and say they were in a rush, in a haste, but they couldn't have waited any longer. No mufi said how they were punishing was too much. So we needed our country, take our land, Enti, partly we do not get time maybe to understudy them out of rush. Typical example, my country, Ghana. At the time, their population knew 4 million or around 4 million.
Yeah.
Sika near or near Sika does to Australia.
Yes.
Near Sika does to Canada. And even the British Crown itself. And near Fitz's Cano. And Tiaje Power, Yarashi, send your monko. Namunko working permit in Amumra. And to Koyan, Oma Mabju working permitting. Omso Mbaju social security diako. Benny and training social security expert bia. And SLB office in my home. And Omsa better the governors inside no call for buy. A co change team crew. And the accountants proper from UK. Woman be US Kanankasa buy. And Bay ever check his social security of having worked in Ghana. And Omdum Sikano. I say, Chin Sikanya di Fio Moka.
The Omufa Konya Sasso, Essence S. Daniel Moba.
So I heard you, British Gold Coast.
And there was a Gold Coast in the
Trianica. And to also the call Ghana Yati, name still a Juma Ghana landing in tree the same Gold Coast land. And Juma year and Munchia pension my. And no better check here, no the Quebec and the Ghanaian worker pensioner. We are Juma overcall a unit snetting or that table so I know the pension cry and famine 21st century. And Abrafun is can coin. Then they went to sit down and say, how well can we use the people? We can only use the people and say, Kofona G independence we are on Kofono, Omania Bre, Omo continent. They will not give in.
Happy FM.
Omo Maya Quine. It's young 5 quine be so. Yen Sampam woman. Now, Oma Barno dear, you bet my refresh your mind. That was the cause of the African different kinds of revolutions. In Zosha, historically, every African independent, Secretary Muna Ombaya stubborn. Omo the who said no, will be militants. Yamabro from Quino. Earlier the days, Omam called democratically, Omo the longest 77 Kromam, 57 to 66, come on, Bessinko, Keita, Bessinko. Secretary, you understand? Now, Omo Pump, Omo tries they instigate Lumumba, Kukum. All of them count that they were all Pan Africans. So those crews did not keep money abroad. Those crews, they didn't keep money abroad.
They kept money here.
Say, Lee Kuan Yew of Singapore. Ghana is older than Singapore in terms of presidency.
Yeah.
Mbajwadia said, Lee Kuan Yew said, leave me to stay in power. The longer I stay, I'll steal you, much I'll give back. So 1959 to 1990, 31 good years close. On in a building, Singapore was poorer than Ghana. Malaysia, Takum, Abdurrahman. Oh no, Ghana was ahead. We were presidents. 8 months before. And Obenya presidency. Look at where he took Malaysia and how many years. Go back to the north of Africa. Are you getting me? Koshe, Egypt. Gamal Abdel Nasser, Oni Mohammed Nagu, Omo combination, how they built Egypt after overthrow of King Farouk, the monarch in the kingdom. Serially and several times comparisons, Kaunda, Ene, Nyerere, Ene Kenyatta. They were not the people who started the extortion and scanner omdikoche. No, yet. Because they believed in the Africanism. And they really wanted to. But the mistakes they did was that, especially in our case, top class Kwame Nkrumah was the architect, a massive thinker, a huge advocate of intelligence. And he was too much effective, sir. Now he was in a rush because he has studied the white man. Now whites in who say Nkrumah betray Omu. Because those people post independence. Whereas the French, independence, no de crocro, and the French in go Paris. Don't go Paris, deputies. Into one France administration, Minister of Agric, no more about 30 deputies. African deputy minister, about 30. Ofo Bwanya waha, we have the due for money at the day, as deputies. With the idea, say, Oma Momo the doctrinization. Say, Mono Namunya Day. when I'm be changing
the doctrine of assimilation.
Yes. And Timoni and Nemo Bayer Jumano. And I'll protect you. In any case, the reality is that the longer somebody stays in power does not necessarily make the person corrupt. It is not true. Longer that the person stays in power does not make the person corrupt. It is the usage and abuse of the power that makes the person corrupt. So ironically, you know, Omo Taylor Omo country into success. They said longer because they had a program. Yanya Diana saying, look when your mama 31 years, King Tukun Ahmed Abdul Rahman. Omo ko how many years? Ethiopia Hakrano, Salesa ko how many years? And some of them stayed longer and had a good plan. Chinese premier, or how many years? But you share the Chinese history at the time of 50s, in the 50s, you know. Now, share presidency at 57, we're older than them in terms of democracy, and they are still not democratic. Does that make China not a successful country? So look at where China is. Wako moon. What did them change? Wako moon. After the excavators, Echo Bush forest.
Happy FM.
But what I say, Obi ko orbit. After near Sukra, Land Cruisers, Echo Bush. Aquacope, your friend is saying, Garamseya, Acheno. Look at where their country is. North Korea is a typical communist country. She know history. Vietnam, Ghana, and an Vietnam. Ghana, all an Vietnam. European country, Romania, Ghana, and an Romania. Ceausescu regime. Ghana helped them. Into no more diplomatic pact. Ghana for crime to share. Because you see hotel woman, you see hotel Poland and other places. Until we were having the monies. But and yes, says Cano, Shani Yanshasuyi, but you man first Canan could see. But
Yanshasuye in what sense?
Can say to you, Dr.
After I want us
independence.
After independence,
yes.
Prior to independence, Abrofono Esan Daniel Mhobai say, Oma ye juma mai.
Oh yes.
And they will see a tuamoka. So they came back for a part or a portion of reserves and near war.
Oh, Baba is in society.
And I'm sending in
social security. We block money cash because we can't money no. Go Coast account was in France. Was in UK. Nena Bank of Ghana.
They determined how much they were supposed to be paid.
Yes, and I'm say gold reserves in the country Omohoka. But not that was standing no. Every country went through that colonial mishaps. United States of America, say in the 40s, say we'll be a bonny and you trying pennies addition as a form of punishment. No, yes, Abium. Also a world police. When yes, Abium. Just 1946, yeah. Majority I say. And people have gone through what process of why now ye be do time now. Now you feel say, sir, the forefathers. The colonial, post-colonial woman, homogeneous independence, the independent fighters, you know, Pan-Africans, you know. Omba ye weaker, abrofuni deceive woman, FD the backline, ebe 2 woman. Show me time, ebi di 6 years, ebi di 4 years, ebi di 2 years. Omom ye stubborn term no. And say no way, me mount you. And then the mass secretary who created rebels and militants around the whole Sudan area, Sudan Empire. I'm referring to Mali, Senegal, and Gambia, Guinea, Gambia, Union. Who created rapport to stop Abrofon so mobile so baby. That made him so to time with Kakra Eche. But Oma Kenny Nano, Ubia Pamano. Yapam Womu and the men of their choice. Omunam the orientation is to protect your country, bring the money. Niam fancy amount.
Happy FM.
And other jurisdictions, China who ni nyansa. O kipu ni sika ama ne nkofo. Malaysia hu ni nyansa odi ni sika ye development. Singapore odi hiani a woni resources wetima be the third model beautiful economy in the 1996-97 up to 2000. Singapore was the highest paying country in the world in terms of salary, and yet what did fish, aqua, tourism and what they building the country and why in a service nation or the taxes in the country. Singapore is an identity of what? Neatness. Yet, your channel.
So for us, I'll have for us, you know, dear ma this trend here one more di countries nanim after the Pan-Africanist leaders were gone. They were the people who introduced and helped germinate the idea. Say, see a year, I was here, DSC no, ekokoma abrofono.
Abrofono na kachi say, one de Nkrumah Mbe, one Patrice Lumumba, one Kenyatta, one Kaunda, one Julius Nyerere, one your friend is King Fahd, King Ahmed, all of them no, one do Mbe, and you protect you. Could you almost so? Nyanchira okwan faso. Omu bumu kwasia. Omu ye dictators. Omu ya kromfo. That is how they sold. And then we, the betrayal mentality of the African. Yaji tumu. Ani ani aji abrofunu hoska. Ani ebe ye coup d'etat. Yani aji aberku. Yes, of course. Some of them, no, they were SSs. Democratically, they were SSs. But we should understand that countries now go through the process. United Kingdom, and then UK, the British, Great Britain, and Kasa, and then the Londoners, Omufanya Irish, Omufanya Wales, Omufanya Scottish. They were treated them the same thing like they were more treating us. But the country goes through or went through processes. Mbajwadia said, the Russians, they treating the colonies. But when Timan colonized Bakukra, and up to now, Ukraine, it's because Russia cannot claim they are a master of Ukrainian independence. No. They didn't colonize them. In Europe, Obia in colonial master. Obia a master on his own. Yeah, then the Ankobanesa. Our own, we had colonial masters. And young colonial masters, instigate woman be two Pan-Africans in Vienna. And no start here. And then, unfortunately, in the 90s era, late mid-80s and the 90s, coming, I wanted the revolution of Africa. A best start here. Until revolution started here, honestly, started by because they wanted protection. Until so be two, and we say Kwame Nkrumah a true democratic or Chabrofuni Nyansa dia. And yet, wow, by no, Branian protect you. Who is Ka Fabeshaha? My manum Raha no Meko school ha. Near me a councilman. And in the Didima, but in the 95th, mid-90s, up to 2000. What the mechanical mentality, stupidity, foolishness, criminality, obvious, utmost chrono. Omon bedid are there from that time. Omnam di nyansa chrono by. So Abrafun who sang for no Jimmy. And ye greedy. And they are not prepared to help their people. So what we do, he said, Fauci Canebra. And what happened? I mean, sure, and let me say it once again. Politician, president of a country, US can. Obianwa or this can call Brunibia commercial bank. It is not true. They open trust houses.
Trust houses near.
Trust houses, and they say, your Ghana commercial bank or the commercial bank in issue and will be a team discount tumbi. By your Ghana commercial bank trust house. If be account super managing a nipa 80, will be unfinished gamma to you. And to win to mean Tina. Bogoso, and shall be a counter, a water credit because a Bank of Ghana, a Ghana commercial bank, one platform. The same thing I brought from here. And they gave certain people the license. HSBC, Commerce Bank, all the top banks were European. Swiss Bank. Omina BA Trust Houses, Happy FM near HSBC and a Swiss Bank Happy FM branch. Ono anya commercial account yamfa sika ma metum ye di nipa bi ti se bra me wo obi e di sika betum ehun information bi anko out what ya na
there's an exclusive service
trust house this kana koto no assign na interestingly wo ya president now this says can be shuje iti ho untaxed for reporting yankwasia report because untaxed is asking is reporting documentary say Sikania is torture. But sound taxes can ya go train station. Scanner Africans and by him and the money comes through their trust houses. And no my encrypted scanner. Now say President A like Abacha, Babangida, other presidents that you cannot call, including ours. Our US can they call. Or this kind of car. What sign exclusivity say? Well, you can't any damn person.
You can't.
you should not know. Yes, that's the protection of the secrecy. NDA, non-disclosure. And the first thing I sign. And the sober we be a myra, San Wire dear non so sign. Ube we be a mamma, my remian and man. Because one passe, Oba Kacha or Ireno Basse, Missika Daha, Nachina be a copia babia, Yababe Sacha Yum Debbie, dear no yene unqua. With the Scanium you now chima bio yedia, and to what it is and say. The NDA was carried into Ua or Mafescano. This is the cause of why the money goes up. They cannot bring it back.
Because already they've entered into an agreement.
You have an NDA, non-disclosure, and the money is encrypted in a trust house. It's not a commercial account. And Kobian Kabahan publish an internet day. Kabaho a president via accounts. Mamin Show, Mobutu says a circle of Congo. And Okoto Dine, our band in Switzerland. Na baby or dino, not train for damage. A long stretch. A dynamo on them. But Adaba Kwabakwa Dahon train did a betramuno. I also baby to say the East Legon or the Trasaco of Ben or Switzerland. But to Oba betramo train betrama on Timina. Obi uncle obey 2 years no call no. And Wakacha Swiss government say railway line we party and call you free and come a we just Swiss in Jim. Oh, Yabayama. And we'll call you the cotton baby. Look at the cost. Mobutu Wiyeno. As you and I say, Nisika Eka Switzerland. Aden Abrofono, on tax force, was our reporting. Only Mobutu is calling from Congolese. Nisika, they come Belgium, Brussels, Antwerp, half of the city, our Congo. Half of Brussels, we will be out in Brussels. Half of Brussels a Congo for property. Stupidity. You are too down at the core. Mobutu a wuko, ubetima tu a dino at the ako. Aka. But I say. So, it is not only that. And to woman now, almost still a Pan-Africanism, no. Colonel Muammar al-Gaddafi. Also, only the own Jane. Abrofona accuse you, no. Why you say, young church till today, when even they wanted to kill Gaddafi, they could not come out. Say, yes, we are Sika and billion, diamond, gold, etc. Gaddafi's regime, his ideologies, political ideology and philosophy, how different was it from Lee Kuan Yew? I didn't know man could Lee Kuan Yew.
How is that different from Paul Kagame?
Listen to me. Kagame cried another history. We'll come into that. What I say, you can use a longer years, bad political system, and get good economic. Until whilst the Chinese will say, we will give you no political democracy, but we'll give you a trade or profession democracy. We'll democratize you to have a profession than to give you a fingerprint.
Let me, Mami Musa Sasimwe, how is it that this trend has been able to live this long, despite the fact that Yahoo said, in Sunsansu free move and what the continent of Africa.
Okay, the beautiful aspect of it is that back home in Ghana, your young politicians like you, like brother, like some of us, I will take console nation. I will know your modern day. We know my hotcha who mates, who age mates who come. Your young politicians don't buy politics. They are criminals more than the old ones who got to women. Are you with me? Our young politicians who joined in the last 20 years, who joined the last 25 years, one would have expected, say, they bring the new things, the modernity in country run and say, yeah, they are your classmate, your school, your Legon, your Legon, your tech, your poly, that them ye bread, ye per good governance. So guys, you know, in the girls, you know, call politics, you know. In our own country here, Omicron no boy and 70-year-old politicians. You know. So it means it is a transfer of a stupid baton. It is not an amount, how best, how smart that you do it, but how it impacts the life of the others. And we're asking ourselves, are we learning or we are reversing the entry? The question is that we are reversing the entry with a stupid speed. And today, and ya obi because one kasa who percent who could your politicians or Land Cruiser 5 our in ministry. The same person as or ministerial talk Your new minister see appoint you, Massa. We share business woman cook mass home courage in beer. Or no minister, no Ajilan Christians pay 8. Golden tulip. Aha, no makoda. Shora no pa, na kwa show breakfast omu ye. Via, she cap, she jeans, she boot. Papa kwasa some kwana boys in kudi. No go bemi. Nonsense. Because when they go, they like the ambience. Minister Ba, no abejina ho pejanity, no pejanity say. Excuse me, with all due respect. They don't make any sense. If they make sense, like the spirit and the heart of Nkrumah Money, Ketamana won't do toil, their blood, fighting. We think, say, the generation, the modern youth, cry, say youth in Yejuman. How well have our youthful politicians impacted the life of their own classmates? Show me back. Show me one. And yet the same thing on court, Mr. Speaker, no more can go parliament. What do they do? But we have a life to live. And we have a country that we are developing. So you ask myself, say, are we developing the nation? Are we building a nation? Or we are running a nation? So it gives credence to the president Ochiho, not referring to Nanado, not referring, all of them. Say, protect my working force, my ministers, let them feel comfortable. They have the voice of my government. To hell with you the rest. Go and sleep, come back tomorrow. It's like that. Because when even Waha, what you so view and say, over criticize Krana, a person that you knew yesterday. That is why I said, let me call Macalanta. So I don't have even their friend is saying a CV, curriculum vitae. Some of the quack resume, some of the compare Juma. And I will never do that, mashallah. Me here be. Because if you employ me and you take me to your outfit, you can't control me anymore. I'll be like a flying bird. You cannot control me. But they don't want you to do that. Therefore, Omupobi Oba, business as usual. Let's find a way. Look, two governments, MPP, NDC, West Case, in reference. MPP, Oyeska, Oya with intelligence, cleverness. NDC, Oyeska with aggression and stupidity.
Happy FM.
Did you get it? Anything, Weber power, Oyeska and Chini Nipabia, Weber power with the Timichibi. And to Waku Oyeska with aggression, with impunity, disrespect. They are Bakunsu Oyeska with intelligence and good cover. Each one of them, Obia Blemu Obi said, "Why you're corrupt." And yet, our prisons are free with any of these people. Rather, no, your tomato sellers in Umdegu cells. Your cassava sellers, affiliate prisons. In Tihanu Uya, hallelujah, Oko. But I'm asking not only Ghana, it's not different from Sierra Leone, it's not different from Kenya, it's not different from any other place. So you ask yourself, say, a continent with this massive wealth, the whole world, all the continents are filled, except the only Africa, which is the biggest and the most richest continent. Now, up to now, we see what we see, and then how we live. And Zalka says, I read your cap, where you some topic, how the money could be returned.
I don't know, say, I can't say, I know, you can't want to mention
I want this kind of bro.
And that's
one and family. Switzerland, tell me, have you seen made in Swiss products?
But Switzerland, for example, is saying, they are trying to help some African governments retrieve money, sir. Some African leaders.
How do you help to retrieve? You have the money in your account. Bring the money to them. There's nothing helping me.
But they need to authenticate.
Authentication, anything. Let me tell you, Buhari's government, I'm giving you a secret. Buhari's government, every Thursday, the first 3, 4, 5 months of his government, every Thursday, I was sitting on part of their technical committee. And they were chasing some of these things. I'm just telling you. Okay? I was going 2 times in a month in Nigeria. It's so sad. It is so sad. The kind of things that you notice and the monies one person takes away. And then letters, and Mahmoud Buhari, one threat to come to. Do you know where? We chase some of the monies. Dominican Republic, Ecuador, Curacao. Offline countries that you wouldn't expect. Panama. Vanuatu. Sika omudia koguom. One timi nimwe no no. The family timi meji nwe no. But the money is gone.
What really has motivated these leaders to do all the things that they're motivating? Sika pudro said they okay. Sika untumi ni ansan
Baba.
Unim senka sika no betimi aboa the development of your country.
Baba, Omo advises you. Don't forget say Omo advises. That's a mistake that you making. Winim bibi. Me modin, but the chrome ha. Winim abrofo say omba have ebubu ya government no ko. Me can be sure abidwane. Abrofo no share suit and 21st century. Eba ha ya Ghana, eba Nigeria, eba Togo ba ha. Omo call himself say government and governance advisors, investors, blah blah blah. Ombe solicit fund. Papomba u beard white. Yenya the car conform tamak so nya ma nice best your friends a bus. American Ford. Team 16 we share team say yes. These are highly brainy people. Ya from for Wall Street, 111 Wall Street. Oh, New York. They are criminals. But the concept but to what? Now government to hope. No magic consultancy fee. Enti ya ho ya actually no. Dodo na no ya governments no I enter secret contractor you and I. Emma parliament your friend consultancy fee. They pay it. Let's can call. Me ba jo dey say. Na omo tua consultancy fee ni wi a na eyi wo mu a. Obi ante enti anuguase ni hit ni ba say call taxes so. Majority are there now.
You taxes. So that's
the only way because yes, how do you balance the equation? You woman papa African governments abrofunu gusu ebe you in a clever way. In a clever way. You don't have any idea. But abaya mistake obinti. And to the point is say it's so sad say your country I've said it say Ghana the only country on earth your resources or will be in that commercial volumes is Australia. The only country on earth that has every mineral resources in commercial volume. It should not, and I don't believe, say Ghana should be now. Yeko chase galamsi. Now you say why not only there or where Jumaya, Papa, Obakwa boom. Send a Do you think it's normal? It is not normal. Who does that? Who does that in this world? It's because when the people are helpless, when the people are hopeless, when the people have nowhere to go, then they must leave. Man must leave. They result in some of these things. Back to your question. The money is extorted. Unless the money is shipped, the friend repatriation. Sikaya repatriated to Abino, a government, other jurisdictions. Brony Bia no this can be mount. Because when the money is opened, when it comes there, Yankos is here, Shatadi Atiti, Neko Barclays Bank, Kogana Commercial Bank, $2 million, so could be account. Papa, everyone should come a cook. Maybe this kind of will be him. The next day, for one Kasasako, so Baby is come. Is that not what happens in Ghana here? Obi ma check. One Kasado check you cry code, you don't transfer your verification. Is that not the case? Now, this is a free woman. Oh, madam, we need the hot. Now, this car by Switzerland. Papa, Switzerland, Caribbean school free until so baby university. Why is it can on fanye? Why is it can on fanye?
Yes, you can.
Papa, no for when he can. Win him the reserves. Show me UK, baby, you're too good. Show me UK, baby, you're too good. 2015, world gold short here. British phone release home good, a good street so. Why not go some coffee gold in Wahine? Gold reserves, my main shop, United States, Nevada State. Gold on one year, Kota. What is say America be a galamsey? American even in gold. America for one crowd when you see a two gold crowd come. And so Las Vegas, Nevada, the whole state in your golden coin. Kwasha kwa American for first to gold. Gold companies who come American for an EFA. But kwa Nevada na koko to gold near here. Kasa seen your papa de oko to gold also. Why now oil? Actually United States and Canada. Alaska belts. Anchorage, the whole province, the whole the oil, no, Saudi Arabia, ni mukota. But I'll say they will not conflict with technology. Or no to high skills, good doctors, medical equipment, or to airplane, Boeing, this and that. In turn, kofa oil meka ho, ema mu nyina ma dwem kodi oil marketing ho. In turn to oil, name mbakwa kwaje oil, am yin nkofo ayusu. That is the sense. Alberta province of Canada. Oil or one, Saudi Arabia, the whole Middle East combined because I switch a woman. Nibi. What you know oil? Quanyo. 1 barrel. On 2 years. Or say and I will not conflict with technology. Now let's come back home. Say United States of America. Only there or liquid production or Tonyama USA products and you become cars or United Kingdom, the British. Shaminiama do draw. Omoyaton. I mean, you top British product on daily basis. Virtually not, but only on what? Services. Taxation. Switzerland is a service nation. Only to produce Balbia. Or no momo quack adie, say camera way, or say Swiss version. And European version, no, Swiss version. Company be a ye bibia or Swiss, woman specification. Chem Swiss in this way. Chem Niskaway. Neutrality. Red, white flag, and they would play neutrality. And to be our years can be a fabra betuha. Now, my home by amount. Majority, I say, a country with 3 professions of each. Ubia or radio presenter be a Switzerland or so Jenny. Udi soja 3 months, 2 months, no Asako police at Adie, we are no Sabaha, protecting the country and protecting the country's past. Your country the salary in Europe a higher chance Switzerland. A dent in European Union man called Johnny currency no. On Johnny because say yes sir sikabi guho. I will dear manana nama babeji.
Fudu.
O di amanana nama beji. O wia was the neutrality. As the 46 soldiers ako guide your friend is saying Holy See or Vatican because of neutrality. So you need back or guide the Vatican, sense, common sense, a service nation will produce a but to Neska. And then they're still no yen Timmy. I gave example the last time. Dubai was built by a 42-year-old British boy, architect, and was designing the country Dubai. Until then it was a poor country than even Togo. Poor. Share says Dubai. Or a service nation. You produce Bibia or home. So maybe the product coho 9% ton krumwa the batches made in Dubai. Spare parts and then Mercedes obey and made in Dubai. I know just a production company no there's no fleet. Production line in ho. But our service country no or say betofie share the group company any other Israeli friends say Dubai company Emirates. And call for Diana or Makotoho. And no one and I'm piece of Baba can use Calon. What do you ask me now? Sure, I'm in
Nakahobi, but I believe that Enkomowe and Yenny baby.
I'm in German before we go off. Politicians are cut down with Dubai. Yes, businessmen need their private men need there, leave them. Politicians are cut down in Dubai. But
there is a report also indicting some businessmen that they facilitate the fly of these money.
Papa, so maybe a businessman. That's a one dream. What is can being a minister, being an accountant, being a whatever. Now this kind of brother will Papa accounts to me. Never quite okay. Mr. Sophie said, "Me a pope." Who's a Vatican? What am I? Also the Beko.
You wrap you up.
It doesn't make well. But like I said, Oma thought that would Dubai. No, sometimes a hard dream. Politicians, I'm sorry, not the private ordinary one.
I didn't.
Because say, Oji Dina or say or invest amount. Now Oba Dubai hoa babe daha friend 2 weeks in advance. Non prepare a dino like your son for my high. Why would I know? Why would I watch you know? Chow money time. Now about 2 weeks. What the car catcher say your reservation be a book. Our dining model because who are heading or finance amount. Maybe 2 weeks now, I would do down class one. It has a wait here rent. I'm an abuse because we manage that man. Yes, as a cocoa baby da because of the dining menu for. And the dining practically is not yours.
Train you. What you are done?
What you are done? Come in, be a tracker. $300,000, $400,000.
Be your sum.
Or just a company now turn or so one run amount.
See a year facility management company. No.
Yes.
I say, ono na manage
or manage amount.
But what ha?
What ya?
Na opeso
ko man 2 weeks advance.
Was money 2 weeks advance.
Advance notice. Next year that crow be also be 6 days. 6 days in this one so one kwa be to rent.
Why would I no be to rent?
One kwa be to rent.
I'll have it.
Enti no susuka. Happy ever. Oda Eze abubu ashi. Obi rent so if you run to another. Happy
International diplomatic relations consultant I will have. I'm pretty sure say next week about was going to change. We will find out ways and means to me this kind of beba.
Of Nigeria was there under good luck. Oil minister. Time Buhari banned, she was the first target because they saw a serious extortion in the repatriation, money laundering, heavy, or they call it in London. Buhari AHT said, Obachi design. What was the British report? Design has what? Cancer. She will die the next 2 days. And no brofona boy no unity. No man call hunger strike. Into Buhari now call a yinko so there was a report in Nigeria said designed to die in 2 weeks' time because Dr. Arrival. As we speak, we naturalize it as a Dominican Republic citizen, and now she's a minister in Dominican Republic. Kwana question bra with a diplomatic passport, so bit my question.
Happy ever. But my mentor there, Yanni say, since 1980, Sika free continent is what called Amanoninqua is about $1.3 trillion. I don't know. Of course, there is another document that is indicting a year Abrofuno. But next week, I'm pretty sure we'll continue with that particular conversation. Thank you very much. Al-Wahab Farouk. What's it? Oh, somewhere around 68 million. 400 throughout the period. Somewhere around 400 and something $1 billion. Now, Baby Drew. Happy 98.9 FM.